Hello everyone and welcome. Welcome to my very first video recording of an intuitive numerology energy forecast. That's quite the mouthful, isn't it? So this video will encompass various messages that I bring about through numerology, through playing cards, the spirit animal, and then any intuitive messages that I pick up on that relate for the collective in the year ahead, 2023. My name is Tina DeLuca. I am a psychic reader. I specialize in numerology and reading of the playing cards. And playing cards, what people use for poker, solitaire, bridge, all those kind of card games. And I have been a psychic for quite a few years, over 30 now. I started in my late teens, but it wasn't until the year 2013 that I made the conscious decision to come out of what I refer as the psychic closet. And that's when I decided to create my own business. It's called Enlightened Energy, and I provide various reading services for individuals, for groups. I do public events and speaking engagements, and I also address messages via a monthly article that I post on my various social media platforms and website. And for those that would like to learn more about who I am and what I do, feel free to explore my various social media outlets and my website, which I will put in the description for this video. All right, without further ado, let's get going. So today, as I'm recording this, it is January 3rd, 2023. Some may consider it, oh, it's a few days into the year. Why would I put out a video now? But I believe timing is all good. Like everything happens when it happens. And this year is no exception to that rule. That's the kind of year it's going to be. 2023 is a number 7 energy. And how I determine that is very easy. All I do is put a plus sign in between each digit. So 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3. Add all the numbers together across, and it's a 7. And I also look at what type of 7 it is. So what that means is it a double digit first, or does it stand alone? And this number this year, it stands alone. So what I get off the bat when I look at the number is a phrase. And the phrase that I hear for all of us is, it's going to be a year of magical thinking. That sounds really nice, doesn't it? So what does that encompass? Magical thinking can be a term that we use in how we approach our life, how we approach ideas. It could be also what comes our way. So for instance, if you are struggling, let's say with emotions, you're feeling down on the dumps, discouraged, you're feeling angry, you're feeling lost. This is where, okay, um, all it's going to take is some magical thinking, or something will arrive my way that will bring in that magic, that will bring that spark to help me lift up or help me overcome that hardship, that challenge that you might be feeling, thinking. Year of magical thinking could also be where this is a year where a lot of our ideas, plans, goals, dreams will be encompassing that kind of element, magic. And it doesn't necessarily mean about doing magic tricks, but where it's like we can't explain how everything unfolds, or we can't seem to explain how certain things happen for our lives or within ourselves or come to be. So look at magical thinking in all these forms and see, keep track. Also use it as a tool if you are feeling stagnant, struggling, stuck, as a way to help you overcome and get through that. kind of experience situations. Okay, so there's that. Now, the number 7 has various themes and traits, the main one being faith, Faith. And I like to spell it because sometimes I don't know how my English comes across. It might sound a little different by the pronunciation. Faith encompasses many things, right? So, in the literal sense, it can be about religion, as a lot of the religions, or all the religions of the world, express themselves as a type of faith, right? And religion is, whether you believe in it or not, whether you follow a religion or not, has this basis connected to faith. So this is where they have teachings and belief systems that are drawn to, partly the inner world. And this is, because of it's related to religions, this is where religion is going to come into focus for us. So it can be via various news stories, in articles, in books, TV shows, movies, conversations. We will be encountering elements of religion in our everyday lives, whether we look for it or not. It'll come to us, we'll be drawn to it as well. This is where it'll appear as well. The religion, as will also relate to the leaders of the various different religions. So they will be in focus somehow, some way, in some manner. On a more personal level, this is where, we may question the purpose of religion this coming year. And does it really matter? The use of religion, how it helps us, how it hurts us. This is also where we might be more curious about various religions. So let's say if you are, practicing a certain religious type, this could be where, like, you're going to want more of it, or you might want less of it. It could be where, okay, I'm curious about different religions of the world. This could be where, you want to leave it completely and make your own religion. And making your own religion can be where, well, I believe a bit of this from Buddhism, I believe a little bit of this from the Catholic faith, I believe a little bit of this from the Hindu. It doesn't limit itself to just one thing. And yet, this is where religion may show up and try to exercise their force. They might try to exercise their own belief system and be where, like, you know what? No, this is the religion of the world, or this is where religion will want to control, influence us in many ways and more than usual. Okay, so be aware of that. The other thing I want to say is faith goes deeper than that. And this is where it's about going within. That's what faith encompasses. So this is a year of a lot of our answers, a lot of what we're going to be drawn to, figuring things out, will be about going within. So the more you can do that, the better it'll be. And that's not always easy to do because we are taught to think, right? We're taught to think things through. We're taught to use our minds to figure things out. And I mean, that's great too. I mean, that matters. That has a purpose. But we also have to encompass, what does our inner soul say, or our intuition, our heart. So our inner being. And we're not taught how to use that, the majority of us, right? So faith goes deep in the sense of we are going to be learning and drawn to using the system of, I have to believe it. No, believe it before you see it. And yet we're taught the other way. We live in a society where it's like, nope, we need proof. You got to show me before I believe it. You got to um, make it known so I can see it, touch it, hear it, taste it, whatever it is, some sort of physical proof before I will believe. And faith does not work that way. It's totally opposite. So this is where, the more you can go and just have that knowing, have that faith. Some people might call it trust. Like, okay, I'm going to listen to what my inner being says. I'm going to listen to my heart. I'm going to go with that. The better, and I'm going to say easier situations, experiences will unfold and come to be. Now, I want to add with faith, because I don't want to say like it's blind, but it's almost like it's an unknown energy, right? Because we don't have proof right away. You don't know how things are going to unfold or come to be or work out. That's what faith is. So, and that relates to the intuition part, and that's what intuition is. It's about when you're going within and listening to that inner voice, you are following a path or a thread that's going to lead you um, to what serves you best, but it's like the unknown along the way, okay? And things will come to light later. So let's say you have this inkling, I got to go to this location and visit it. And you don't know why, but it's like really strong. You're really feeling that pull. It's like, I got to go there. So you go there, but on the way there, you don't know why. It's an unknown, but you're giving it faith. You're trusting it. You're believing in it. And then once you arrive and you're in that location, in that place, that could be where it's like, oh, okay, something happens, or you run into somebody, or you have an experience that helps you, that gets you maybe to that next step that you were hoping for, that you were, working towards. So that's what I want to say about faith. Um, I also want to bring up prayers come up with this. And prayers, is related to religion. A lot of um, different religions have prayers, right? And they have their own way of praying. They have certain prayers that they like to say, ways of doing it. So again, this is where some of us, especially if you're practicing it, might want to pray more. Others might be questioning the purpose of prayer, or does it actually work or make a difference, or why does it have to be just so? Because you're following a certain criteria, you're following a certain regiment, tradition to it. For others, prayers can be very general. It could just be where, you feel like you're talking to God, or you're talking to Jesus, or you're talking to the angels, or to the spirit world, or the unknown, whatever you believe in. This is where you might be drawn to like praying more than usual. And prayer for me, I come from this belief system that it doesn't have to follow a certain criteria. For me, prayers is about having this conversation within yourself that aligns with your spirit, that aligns with your heart, that connects the mind, body, and soul. And it's where, if it's rambling, it's rambling. If it's more detailed, concise, that's how it is. For me, there is no wrong way or particular right way of praying. Okay, it comes from within. So prayer will be very important. Um, I'm wondering too, then, because of that, if there's going to be more prayer groups sprouting up, especially over the internet. So this could be where, like, let's say with Facebook, more groups, or people saying like, I'm starting a prayer group. I need your prayers with this, with that. So it might be become more prevalent, and a way of people communicating more, connecting with one another is through the power of prayer. So there's that. I'm just referring to my notes so I don't forget anything. Intuition, right? So this is the seven energy is a spiritual energy. So what that means is it doesn't totally jive with the um, physical or material world completely. I don't know how to say that. Like I don't want to freak people out. Because it's a spiritual energy, it likes to unfold naturally. It likes to make itself known through various signs, symbols, um, situations in its own way, in its own time. So it's this kind of energy that appears to be mysterious. It can appear to be, again, magical. It can appear to be miraculous. So there will be, times in our lives this coming year, and this can be personal and also as a collective, where it's like something takes place and it'll be like, as if by magic, or as if by, miracle, or it's a mystery, like it's something that we can't solve or explain easily, or like how it came to be or how it made itself known, or what happened. Okay, so it's the great mysteries of life, it's the great miracles of life, it's the great magic parts of life. We won't be able to make sense of everything. That's one of the key elements to the spiritual part of this number, um, because it doesn't like to be explained in physical terms, it doesn't like to be explained in material terms. um, it wants to show to us, and especially since, we live in a physical world, there's a lot of physical and material elements to our surroundings. This is where the energy likes to come in and say, like, we exist, we matter, we have a place in your world, but you can't easily explain us, you can't easily prove us. Um, we're just there. And that's what, a lot of our upcoming experiences that we encounter in 2023 is going to have that kind of element. So it can be, um, at times, some people are going to think like, oh my gosh, how amazing, right? Or how magical, or how miraculous, or how um, divine something took place or unfolded. And for some people, it's going to be unnerving. It's going to be unsettling because it's like, I can't explain it. They're not used to that side of life because they're very literal. They're very much about the intelligence, or very much about the explainable. Okay, so there's an element of illusion and being disillusioned. What's real, what's not real. Um, Now, there's a part of all this too that we need to be aware of. And if there's anything I want people to remember, especially after listening to this video recording, is trying not to control life this coming year. Okay? So, easier said than done, because we are a species of habit, We are a species that like to repeat things. We follow patterns. We are drawn to the familiar and the known. We'll stick with something whether it's good for us or not. And the number seven energy gets us out of our comfort zone by trying to show us, no, don't, controlling isn't always in our favor. Always knowing the answers isn't always in our favor. Always, having that sense of, preparation, of planning everything in detail isn't always in our favor. So if you try to control elements of your life or elements of experiences, elements of others, ideas, goals, dreams, to the point where you are forcing it, you are trying to make it happen, you're willing it, it's not going to be pleasant. You're going to struggle. You're going to discover elements of how it all goes wrong. It'll be frustrating. It'll be messy, and because that seven energy doesn't like control. It's where, that's part of the magic, right? And part of the mystery. It's where, like, you know what, just do a little bit and don't worry about the details. Don't worry about how it's all going to end up. Don't worry about the when. Don't concern yourself with, whether that person's going to get in touch with you or whether that's going to be the right place or the right job. No, just go along, go with the flow, let things unfold naturally, and let us, the unknown world, the spiritual side of life, help you. Let us take control, okay? And when you do, again, you're going to find that things will work out in your favor. They will happen, and you'll realize, you'll come to discover that what came to be, what worked out, were blessings in disguise. Okay, so try to remember that. Try not to control. Give the control to the spiritual side of life. And spiritual side of life, again, can mean what you want it to mean, what you believe in, because this is a year of believing too. What do you believe in? What don't you believe in? Why do you believe in what you believe in? And again, that's connected to faith. And faith, again, the religions, because religions is about, believing in what their doctrines, believing in what they share, their commandments, I'm going to put it as rules, regulations, their traditions. And this could be where, again, I'm referring back, but where some of us are going to be questioning that. It's like, well, why does that religion believe in that type of tradition? Why does that religion do this or do that? Why do they believe, this part of life to be such? So there will be a lot of questions, and I feel like religion will be put on the line for a lot of things this coming year. And I'm also picking up, though, there'll be an emergence of, I want to say female power. That's what it comes through as. But I want to say, like, a better term is feminine energy. And with that, I mean, how I see this is like feminine energy for me is about, the spiritual side of life as well. It's about being in tune with the cycles, whether you refer that to the moon cycles, the cycles that, a woman goes through monthly, the cycles of aging, whatever you want to explain it as. I feel like the feminine power energy that's coming through has to do with bringing out more of this intuition and showing the world that there is value in this. This is a time where the feminine energy can't be stifled anymore. And religion stifled a lot of this feminine energy over the centuries, right? It came to, there was one point in history where feminine energy was the be all end all, I guess is how I would want to put it, where it was like, nature was healing. Feminine energy brought in nature, herbs, different alternative therapies, and that has all was taken away by religion. So you see this polarity. This is going to play out this coming year. I feel like the feminine energy will be a force to be reckoned with. Some people will refer this as witchcraft, and witchcraft has been been believed and misconstrued over the years, and has been given a really bad light and reference by a lot of these religions and by a lot of people. And so for me, witchcraft coming out this coming year is not what religion has taught us or has referred it to be. Um, Witchcraft will be, I feel, getting back in touch with the feminine energy, feminine power, nature, natural remedies, natural ways of living, natural ways of being. None of this artificial stuff anymore. Being authentic and bringing out our true nature is what's going to be prevalent, and something people are going to be searching, wanting this coming year. And with the help of feminine power, feminine energy, it's going to be through those outlets that people will find their way to their natural selves, to the natural rhythms of who they are and how to live life. It's not always going to be easy, but that's what's coming out. Okay. What else I wanted to say? Right. So alternative therapies, because I was touching a bit about that with the feminine power, feminine energy. So because the seven energy doesn't jive with the material, physical side of life, that includes the medical world or establishment. Now, I'm not discounting the medical establishment. I feel there is a place and a purpose for that um, area of life. Like, we do need some of the medicines, we do need some of the procedures, they're helpful. But this is where, if we are seeking medical advice or seeking medical help, I always advise in a seven energy to get a second opinion or to seek out clarity and confirmation with it. So again, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not discounting the medical side of life or that profession or those modalities. But any of us that are seeking, let's say you're getting a test, you're getting a procedure, you're getting like a prescription, you're getting something looked at, something that they want to treat, make sure everything's crystal clear. That's what I'm talking about, because it's like, this is how I'm going to put it. So let's say this is your illness, whether it's minor or major, and let's say this is the medical profession. And when they meet, it's like they don't meet like this. It's like one's up here or one's up there. There's this fog in between. Things are hidden from the medical world. So it's like there's a higher chance of things being errored against. So let's say you might get mistreated, misdiagnosed, the prescription might get misfilled, um, the instructions might be off. So I just like to caution everyone, like, just be aware of that. And when seeking medical advice, treatments, to double check everything. Okay. Now, because of that, the seven prefers alternative therapies and nature. So the seven loves nature remedies. So that could be like herbs. It could be how we eat, because it prefers natural eating. So I know there are people, and again, I'm not dishing this profession or this industry, the vitamin mineral industry. The seven energy doesn't like that industry because it doesn't align with it being natural. And I know that I'm not trying to get myself into trouble or get that industry into trouble. I'm just sharing, um, you know, the authentic side of what the seven means in relation to that category. So it prefers natural food. So the more you can eat organic fruits, vegetables, or garden fruits, garden vegetables, um, it likes fish, it likes nuts, seeds, um, anything that nature provides, it likes that. And it also prefers a vegetarian diet. So this could be a year too where the industry of vegetarianism comes into focus, becomes more popular. It's where maybe some people are going to cut back on their meat consumption. Maybe we might find ourselves, we have to kind of feel forced, and whether that's because prices, supply, it could be what's in available as well, right? I know there's been talk about insects and bugs making its way into the food industry, and the seven energy would align with that. Myself personally, I don't, that kind of turns me off. Like I don't support that, but it will be, I feel very prevalent. Like this will be your, like, when it comes to the food side of life, we're going to hear more or be introduced to more products that do have the bug, the insect part element to it. Everyone's got free will, free choice, so you do what you feels right to you, what you are willing to eat or not eat, okay? But I'm just sharing that this is a year where those of us, and I'm not, again, there are souls, like there are energies in numerology that align with the meat eating, and it's like, we do, some of us do need the meat, that kind of protein, but this is where even the meat eaters might find like, oh, I think once a week I'm not going to have meat. And whether, they make that consciously or not, it could be something where they're not conscious of making that decision. Like they find like, once a week they're just eating more fruits and salads, or they're, not having red meat as much, or pork as much, or chicken as much, whatever meat it is, they might be, cutting back on. And because it likes the natural foods, that means it prefers foods that aren't cooked. So that's why, right away I started off with, organic or garden fruit and vegetables, because it prefers vegetables, because I know there's a lot of vegetables that we do cook and are better eaten when they are cooked. But there are those vegetables that, they taste good raw. So vegetables that are more palatable on the raw side, I would say eat more of those if you can. And the seeds, the nuts, fish is one that, again, that the seven energy likes. So there's that. Alternative therapies as well. So those that, let's say, might seek out more massage therapy, um, sound therapy, right? Ways to heal or to bring about relief to the pain that they're experiencing. So whether that's physical, emotional, spiritual, mental pain, this is where incorporating these alternative therapies will bring some sort of relief, will bring in this rush of easing the pain. Okay, so give it time. For some people, it's like it's not going to be instant relief, it may not be instant healing, it may not heal at all, but it'll help ease the pain, ease the suffering. So look into that, and that could also include those who might want to take studies in that, right? Partake in that. Um, Alternative therapies and alternative sources also includes this kind of stuff. So the intuition or psychic realms, esoteric. And I prefer calling it esoteric, and because I feel that has a better meaning to these subjects. So esoteric meaning cards, like oracle card readings, tarot card readings, um, numerology, astrology, crystal therapy, um, angel readings, psychic readings, any of that kind of subjects or areas, people are going to be drawn to it more than usual. Whether you're, again, whether you're a believer or not, those are will be curious, and they might find um, that they become more of a believer in those areas of life. The other part with that, though, is those who already practice it, those who already believe in it, might find some of their belief systems get shaken up this year, because this is, about bringing, like, elevating that side of life. So if you're already a practitioner, or if you're already a believer, this could be where, like, you find, like, you know what? I don't like that reader anymore, or I don't like using these cards anymore. I'm drawn to doing this now. Or how do I know what they're saying is true? I don't know if I believe that. It's so limiting. So this is where it's to, move us even more into our intuition, move us more into an awareness, move us more out of our comfort zone, and to explore more of this unknown, more of the spiritual side of life. Okay, that makes sense. Um, Now I want to bring up, because of the readers and, like, the psychics, healers are also part of this category. New age comes up, and I don't like that term, because I feel like it doesn't fully explain or give it a right meaning to these areas. The other thing with this is I want people to be cautious when it comes to exploring this part of life or these areas, because this is a year where there'll be people coming out of the woodwork claiming to be psychics or claiming to be this kind of reader or kind of healer. So riffraff comes up with all this, and this is going to be not always easy to discern. Um, who's the riffraff of a reader? Who's the riffraff of a healer versus one who's very authentic, very genuine? And for me, what I usually recommend is one, word of mouth. That is the best way to go. And especially if you can get word of mouth reference insights from those that you trust and believe in, like you believe their word. Um, it could also be where you're discerning by your own feelings, like your own inner intuition. So if I've had people come to me because they don't know me, they've never met me, they never heard of me, and they'll say to me, like, "Oh, I was drawn to booking a reading with you because I like your eyes, or I like the sound of your voice, or I like your energy." Energy is another one, right, that they use. So go, be discerning, be really mindful of what your inner voice says, and don't always rush into the decisions, right? If that means, like, somebody presents you with something, say, like, "Oh, go and check this person out. They might help you with your situation. They might help you with what you're struggling with." Sit with it, and feel out whether that's a yes or no. ask yourself different questions that will help you determine whether that's the right person or right path you want to get involved in or explore or pay for to help you out. Okay, there's that. Now, oh yes, so the number seven is represented by nature. Um, a lot of, yeah, it likes quiet. Nature encompasses magic, right? And it encompasses miracles, it encompasses mysteries. Um, there's still debates about things that happen in nature and things that happen in the natural world that can't be easily explained by science or math or medicine. And so that's why the seven is related to nature. So this is where a lot of us will be drawn to nature. Nature will be a great healer and a great modality to use to help yourself. So, and then I believe too, there'll be like a lot of activities connected to nature and natural ways because that comes in as well. So this is a year, the natural way, the natural look, the natural way of being will be popular, will be looked upon as people are in awe of, or people will want to receive. I think, I don't want to again discount the beauty world or the modeling world or the world of appearances, but this is where, I think people are going to be more and more drawn to like, well, I want to be around people, they don't look so put together or so made up or where they look like they've had plastic surgery from head to toe. Um, this is about expressing the natural look. So if that means like, no, I'm not coloring my hair. No, I'm not going to wear tons of makeup. No, I'm not getting Botox. Or no, I'm not going to put on tight fitting suit or spandex or whatever it is to make you fit or mold you into an appearance that isn't comfortable, that isn't natural. You're not going to do it. Okay. And that's the way it's going to be. So when it comes to the beauty industry, the industry related to where it's about the appearance first, they might go down that road too, though. They might play up the natural look or the natural way. So again, be discerning. Be careful with some of the products. This could be too, like, when we buy certain products that we use, so toothpaste, shampoos, soaps, detergents, our clothing. This is a year where we're going to be more drawn to products that have natural ingredients and are authentic. So make sure, again, be discerning, like what they say they are, okay? That they're not exploiting nature to make a buck. Natural too, this could be where a lot of us are going to prefer trying to heal some of our ailments to the natural way. So let's say you've got a stuffed up nose. So instead of, let's say, running to the drugstore and buying some sort of medication, over the counter medication, or going to the doctor and getting a prescription at first, because you might try later, but at first you might think like, oh, I'm going to see if there's a natural way to get rid of this. And it could be like maybe you do the neti, like, the sinus rinse. Maybe you find like, oh, if I eat chili peppers, it'll help. Maybe, and I don't know if that's true or not, but this is where you might use foods, herbs, products that are natural, that are part of nature to help heal what you're feeling, what you're going through. Okay. Now, natural disasters will occur more than usual. There's a high probability because it's connected to nature. Um, I'm just pausing because sometimes too when I'm sharing messages, I get visions, and my visions come through images, through what I hear, sometimes what I taste, what I smell, and what I feel. So when I'm pausing, it's because there's a message coming through for me to share in relation to this forecast. So when it comes to natural disasters, I keep seeing waves. So I'm, but it doesn't feel like hurricanes. That's the thing. I'm wondering if this is going to be a year of floods. So be aware of water. Um, I'm also can see like soil erosion. So I'm getting images of cliffs and I don't want to say hills, but it looks more like cliffs, especially dirt, because it's like I can see it like crumbling down. It's like these waves come up and it like it erodes the cliffs, like it washes away cliffs. So I know that comes through as maybe a bit scary for some, and especially if there's anyone who's watching this lives on a cliff or near a cliff. Um, I I just want people to be aware or safe of that. The other thing, because of the high water, if you live in an area where, I don't know, the water can rise easily in your area because you live by a river or what do they call it? Like sometimes the way the water drains in residential streets, it can flood basements. So look into that. That could be something where, like, oh, maybe we need to get a sump pump, or maybe we need to build up our sidewalk or stairs or something so that if the waters do rise, it's not going to cause so much damage, or we can keep some water at bay. Um, there's that. The seven, oh, okay, yeah. I'm gonna go back to the dreamy. Oh no, I didn't talk about dreamy yet. Seven is a dreamy energy too. It's very like, I want to go la di da, la la la. Like it's like as if you're in your own world or you're in your own zone because it doesn't like to think about things. It doesn't like to figure things out. It doesn't like to process information by like, you know, every single detail, right? It likes to just take it in generally and like as if it's like a foggy dream, or if it's like a dreamy landscape, or where it feels like it's a dream, it looks like a dream. That's the energy of it. It's dreamy. So this will be a year of dreams. Now, again, it's going to be in the literal sense. This is going to be where like people are going to be like, yeah, what are my dreams? What kind of dreams do I believe in? What dreams do I want to create in my life? What are my dreams now? What dreams do I want to pursue that I want to bring in? So those kind of dreams. It's also where a lot of us might find like, oh, I'm dreaming. Like when you go to sleep, like, oh, that's a weird dream. Now I'm not saying it's gonna happen every night. You're not gonna remember every dream. No, that's not the case. But it's gonna be where you're gonna have at least a few like dreams this coming year. So at least a few where it's going to be like, oh my God, what a dream. Like, I remember every detail. I wonder what that means, right? Or what it's trying to tell me. This could be where, too, we may be interested in our dream world more than usual. So, things about dream interpretation, dream symbols, nightmares, how to dream, lucid dreaming, can we dream? Um, what do our dreams mean? Can I dream? That will all come to the forefront, and those will be subjects people will want to explore and try to bring into their lives this coming year. For those of you who don't know, I love dreaming. I dream a lot. I get a lot of psychic messages, not just for me personally, but for the collective through dreams. And I've been taught how to interpret dreams. So years ago, I met an indigenous elder, and he taught me a lot about the dreaming world. So he shared with me different symbols, meanings, how to ask for a dream, what to do to bring in a dream. Um, so anybody who is interested in a dream interpretation, who would like to take a dream workshop with me, just reach out and I'll be happy to tell you how we can set something up. Okay. So, dream world, yes, there's that. Um, daydreams too is part of that as well, I want to say. So, this is where a lot of us will find we're daydreaming. So, those at work, you might, you know, instead of working at what you need to work at in front of your desk or working whatever you're doing, your task, you're going to zone out. And this could be a year like, the kind of jobs people might want is where like I don't have to think. I want a job where it just comes easily. I don't have to put a lot of thought into it. It feels like it's my dream job, where it feels like what I'm doing, um, it's a dream to be where I'm working or to the people I work with or what I do. Um, it's also where people might want jobs where it's kind of maybe more on the boring side so that they can daydream, or their job is boring and they're daydreaming a lot. So that comes up. I also want to say deja vu is another thing with this seven energy. So there'll be those who will experience deja vu. Well, I say those, I think a lot of us will. And deja vu for me has two meanings. So, one, I feel like it's um, a confirmation of your path. So, when you're, let's say, doing something, it's like, oh my God, this feels like deja vu. Like I've been here, I did this before. For me, that can be about confirmation, like, yeah, you're on the right path, you're following your soul journey, your soul purpose. And soul journey, soul purpose encompass many things. It's not just about the big grand things in life. It's not about your career, right? It's about how we go about our daily lives, how about we express ourselves. It's about the choices we make. It's what we learn, what we grow from. Um, and then deja vu is also about remembering something you may have done in a past life. So that it could go either way. Um, let's see what I want to share. Seven, I'm gonna go and share other things. So these are gonna be maybe more like messages. So seven for me too is about purple. Okay, so I've heard other numerologists or people who dabble in numerology um, give the number seven a different color. That's always surprising to me. I'm not going to say that's not wrong or not true. It's just that for me and what I believe in my experience over the years, because I've been doing numerology for over 30 years now. Um, when I look at the number seven or the number seven comes up, I see purple and I see more like dark purple. So um, that's the color I get. So the color purple will be maybe popular or people are drawn to purples more than usual. Um, that could also be about, what we use in our decor, our clothing, makeup, foods as well. Okay. The 7-2, I refer to it as the royals and royalty, royal families. Now, um, when Queen Elizabeth, so the royal family of England is one branch of royalty, because I know there's different branches. There's some in the, like, in the Middle East, there's royalty, I believe in other countries in Europe, um, but the main one being England, right? So after Queen Elizabeth died, Prince Charles became king. And it's interesting because I hesitate with that. So this is part of, an intuitive messages. So even though he's known as King Charles, I don't want to call him King Charles. I want to say Prince Charles. It doesn't feel like he's meant to be the king. And so I wonder with that if something's going to occur this coming year where he's not going to be the king anymore. I don't know if he's going to decide, like, nope, this isn't for me, and he gives the throne to his son. If this means he has a health issue and he can't continue on as king, something else happens, he can't continue on as king. I don't know. I just don't. I have a hard time. I keep stumbling over king with him. Could it be where maybe the establishment comes under scrutiny and the purpose of having a royal family around or having royalty as part of our society matters anymore? That could come to the forefront, and that could be why he's not king anymore. Like maybe it's going to dissolve. That's harder to believe. I don't know. Time will tell. Maybe not this coming year. Maybe it's something that will start it off, that conversation, that outlook, where it's going to maybe take years before the royal side of life or royalty completely dissolves. Who knows, right? Stranger things have happened. This could be also too with royalty and the royal family, whether it's England, all of them, various ones, where their secrets come out or where we become more fascinated. Stories related to the royal family, the way they live, how they interact, their purpose in society will come to the forefront, be questioned. Yeah, I just feel like there's some unpleasant things coming up with the royal family this coming year. And I don't want to say shocking, but it's almost going to be like speechless, as if some of us will be at a loss for words. What is brought to the forefront to our ears and eyes. Speaking of secrets, I also want to say this is a year of secrets. 7, because it's the hidden world and the unknown. It likes to have its secrets, but it's also where some secrets will be revealed. So be aware of that. You might find like I'm keeping some secrets, and maybe you're not a secretive person. Maybe you're one like, oh, I would confide in at least one person, like my very best friend or my mom or my sibling, but it's like this is a year where, some of us will be like, no, I'm keeping my mouth zip. I'm not telling anyone this secret, or I've got my secrets to keep. But also, it can go the other way where some secrets are going to be spilled. We're going to discover some secrets, and not all of them will be pleasant. Um, let's see. Okay, let's go to the spirit animal. So the spirit animal, I dreamt about it. So at first I thought it was actually going to be the hummingbird, because I like to sit down and feel the energies for the year. So it's like I will write down on my notepad, the numbers, and then I like to write down whatever comes through and what I feel and sense and see and hear, all that on paper. So I thought it was the hummingbird, and then I like to read up on it. So it's like I like to read up the spiritual meaning, and I, will visit various websites to see what they write and share about the spiritual meaning of the animal. But I also look at the scientific, the biology meaning of it as well, because that has purpose. So I actually forgot to do that, and I went to bed that night and I had a dream about the spirit animal. And what came to me was a hummingbird, but the hummingbird moth, because there is such a thing. It's an insect. And some are classified as just the hummingbird moth, and some are classified as hummingbird hawk moth. So look it up. There are some sites that do explain the meaning of it. I also like when you look up the meaning, like spiritual and the scientific side of it, they, and oh, that's how I determined what it was too. So in my dream, I'm not going to go into details, but there was a part of my dream where a certain insect kept flying at me, and it was like, this is an unusual looking insect. What is it? What is it? And that I thought at first it was a butterfly, and it was like, nope. And then I thought it was like a moth, and it was like, nope. So, anyways, I had that dream, and then a day or two later, not thinking of my dream, I'm like, oh, right, I'm going to look up what hummingbird means to make sure it confirms, at least some of the energies I'm picking up on for the year ahead. So I Google hummingbird, but what comes up is this hummingbird moth. And I'm like, what? And I feel like that was no accident. So I feel like that was confirmation that, okay, what I dreamt about, it was the hummingbird moth. Yeah, I saw the picture of it. It's like, oh my God, that's what it looked like in my dream. And I felt like it was confirmation of it being the spirit animal for the year 2023 for us. So hummingbird moth has many similar traits to the butterfly, but it is different. It is a unique insect. Um, it also might have similar traits to the hummingbird itself, but it is unique in its own right to the moth. Instead of having a beak, it has a very long tongue, and the tongue, I read, is longer than its body, and it curls. So that's how it gets its nectar. And it is a daytime insect. It's a daytime moth, which is very rare because the majority of moths are nighttime species. They are awake, they operate in the night, whereas this moth, the hummingbird moth, operates during the day. It is fast. It's fast like a hummingbird. It flits from flower to flower. It collects the nectar and it pollinates the flowers. So that those meanings in itself will influence us. It'll be our medicine. So spirit animals are our medicine. It helps us navigate the human side of life. It helps us come to terms with the human side of life. It helps us incorporate and merge the spiritual and the human parts in life to bring that balance. It helps us cope and heal and understand the human side of life. That's what the spirit animal world does for us. Um, so hummingbird moth, yeah, so that itself. So this is a year where it's like, you know what? Go slow. And that aligns with the seven energy. Seven energy likes to go slow. It likes to take its time. So go slow and remember to enjoy the sweetness of life. Enjoy the journey. Especially since we're not going to know the end results. We're not going to always know why we're following a certain course or how things are unfolding in our life. So we might as well enjoy it. Um, when a certain situation or something seems to fall into our lap or opens up for us, enjoy it, right? The other thing with that, because it's, you know, about daytime, it's where, and then it doesn't like to operate at night. This is where, like, okay, go about your life, or do what you need to do during the day, and at night use it to rest. Like nighttime is for sleep. And I want to say, since the age of I want to say technology, right? But that makes sense, like computers and the internet and texting and all this stuff. A lot of us, our sleep patterns, our sleep rhythms are all out of whack. Some people will stay up throughout the night on their phones or on the computer. And this animal reminds us, like, you know what? Shut everything down when it gets dark, When it gets dark outside, shut everything down. This is your time to rest. Go to bed, rest, read, unwind. Okay. It's also about, I want to say the tongue reference is really important and how it unrolls. So be aware of how your words unroll from your mouth. You know, it could be where, like, there will be moments where it's like, okay, bite my tongue. Do I need to say what I need to say? Will it help? Will it serve a purpose? So, and that aligns with the seven energy too, because the seven energy likes to be quiet. It would rather keep things within than, shower people with a bunch of words or shower people with a bunch of noise. So those are some of the meanings, and cocoon, because it has the cocoon process. I'm not sure for how long. So this could be, with us, some of our ideas, some of our dreams will need to cocoon and develop in that cocoon phase before, and we need to go within with it and let it, I want to say like fester, or let it develop in its own quiet, in its own way, in its own time, before it emerges or before it becomes out there as the moth. Okay. So hummingbird moth is our spirit animal. Um, the cards. This is, oh, and you know what? I almost feel like going back to talking about the number 7, but I'm going to go with the cards. Okay, this is how I operate. When I do readings, this is what happens. I'm sometimes flit from, one modality to the next. Um, so when I read the regular playing cards, that's what I do. So I'm just going to show everyone the deck. So that's what I read. And the reason why I read this kind of cards is because it's been on my mom's side of the family for generations. So this is something my mom read, my grandmother read, and it's been passed down from mother to daughter each generation. So my mom taught me, and I remember seeing my mom reading the cards for my dad, for friends at the kitchen table on a regular basis. So I've been with this energy since I can remember. I almost said forever, but yeah, probably forever. So they are near and dear to me. They mean a lot. And when I look at the number and the energies of the year, the card that aligns with all those energies and with the number is, and I'm just looking for it now, is the 7 of Hearts. And the 7 of Hearts is a card that represents dreams and is a dreamy energy. It's a spiritual energy. It's the card of intuition, the card of going within. It's the card of magic and fairy magic. And fairy magic for me aligns with nature and the trees and the flowers and the birds and the bees and the hummingbird moth, right? And hummingbird moth refers to birds and bees because it's pollinating and it's creating life. So that all aligns with the 7 of Hearts. So the 7 of Hearts, bring in the love, bring in the light into your center, go within. Enjoy the quiet, enjoy solitude, enjoy moments of peace. If you're sleeping more than usual, enjoy that. If you're able to take a nap, go and take a nap. If you want to garden, go garden. If you want to go and smell flowers, treat yourself to flowers, buy more plants. You do that. It's about going with um, decisions and choices and living a life that aligns with your inner core, with what resonates with here. It's like, oh, I like that. I want, so then you do that, or you get that, or you follow that path. It's where you listen to your dreams and you play and you take it easy and don't get so worked up about things. And I know at times that's easier said than done, But if you do get worked up or you get stressed out, if you get overwhelmed, it's like, okay, maybe I need to go in nature. Maybe I need to go smell flowers. Maybe I need to go play. Um, I need to go find something that will bring a smile to my face, that will light and spark me from within. Maybe I need to go take a nap. I need to give it a rest. That's what all that card represents and means, and that's how it'll play out for us. So that's the main card I get. I'm going to see if any other cards comes out. And I want to show, that's the other thing I want to share. So I got another sign with that confirming it is going to be the Seven of Hearts because, again, when I was going with my notepad to add notes about the forecast, I took my deck of cards out, and when I turned it over, the first, oh, see, look at it, the first card, and I was shuffling as I was speaking here, was the Seven of Hearts. And again, see, there's another sign confirmation that it is the Seven of Hearts. So that's the main card for the year 2023. That's the way I interpret it. I believe in it because I know there are others who read um, the regular cards, but they have different meanings. And the way that I interpret and read the cards, you won't find it in any book. You won't find it on the internet anywhere because this is unique to my family. It's something that I don't know who in the family developed it, started it off, but someone way back when did, and the method that I use is something that was taught from the mouth. Like it wasn't, oh, read this book. This is how you're going to know what's what with the cards. So in a way, oh yeah, I thought so. The other card, so I just was shuffling to see if there was another card that was going to come out, and Seven of Spades. Seven of Spades this is the comfort card. And this is a card that helps comfort our inner selves. It can also comfort our minds when we have regrets, when we wonder if we did make the right decision, if we are following the right choice, the right path, if we, what we said or what we did was the correct thing. Because we are going to have moments in our life, and we do from time to time, right? But especially so this coming year, where we're going to be wondering, especially because the seven energy is the unknown, and if we follow our intuition, it's going to be like, why is my intuition telling me this? I don't know if I trust it, believe in it, have faith in it. Does it make sense? This card aligns with that because it'll be like, yeah, if you can't make no wrong decision. You can't go wrong. So if you could go back in time and change something, like I wish I said this, or I wish I did that instead. Maybe if I didn't do that, or maybe if I didn't say this, I wouldn't be where I am today. And this card is saying like, no, 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 no. If you could go back in time and change your choices, change your decisions, change what you said, did, whatever it was, you'd still be where you're at today. It's a meant to be energy. And that aligns with the seven because this is like mystery, magic, the unknown, divine blessings in disguise. That's what this is. I kind of almost want to say that's it for the cards. The other thing I do is like I do monthly forecasts, and when I do the monthly forecasts, I always pick a card for the month. So that's something those who are viewing this video can watch out for in the near future. I'm considering doing video recordings of monthly forecasts because for the longest time I do them in written form. Okay, and those appear on my Facebook page and also on my website. Now, I do want to add, I think, a few more things. Yeah, I do. So this is also a year related to signs, superstitions. Um, so a lot of us will be receiving signs or asking for signs, looking for signs. Signs will show up, and for me, I I feel like when it comes to signs, they have personal meaning. Um, when you look up, let's say, if you're able to look up on the internet, what does it mean to find, let's say, a quarter? And people are going to, and if you find the meaning on the internet, it'll be like, well, yeah, that's fine and dandy. Maybe that might not be true for you. So really be, again, discerning. Make note of it. I tell people when you find a sign to write it on a calendar, because that way you remember what date it happened, or you can look back and see what date it happened. And just like, I don't know, go about your life, and then something might grab your attention where it's like, oh, that relates to the 25 cents or the quarter that I found a few days ago or a few hours ago. Um, everybody's sign will have a personal meaning. And even though it might be, again, good to look up the meaning on the internet or in a book or in an article, yes, you can use that as a reference, but it may not be entirely true for you. Okay. So there's that. If anybody's interested in learning about signs and superstitions, I teach a class on that too. Because I grew up in a family, like my family were like big time into signs and superstitions. Um, superstitions, yeah. So superstitions is a really interesting subject, I find, because I find superstitions can connect to religion. It can connect to the spiritual world, and um, it can be something that can bring, you know, I want to say like the unnatural into our lives. Like it's an unnatural um, belief system that, and I mean unnatural meaning like you don't always have proof, or you can't always explain why that superstition has meaning or why that superstition comes true, right? Because for some, superstition again is something where, some people think like that's the craziest thing ever, like they roll their eyes at it, or some people is like, yeah, it's total, like they totally give it 100% faith, they believe in it 100%. So it's a year of signs and superstitions. um Predictions, yeah, so I wrote down some things. I kept seeing crystal beads, like as if they were like gel. Um, I, it's as if I'm wondering, and I want to say like maybe silica. So I wrote down silica gel because it looked more soft, or appeared to be more like a jelly kind of bead than, let's say, Himalayan salt kind of bead or a hard kind of bead. So I'm wondering with this kind of crystal, this kind of beading, silica gel, this will be something that comes to the forefront this coming year as a way of people using to heal or remedy certain conditions, or where it helps with appearance. Something like this might become a popular product. Um, the other thing I wanted to share with predictions is um, I feel like I keep getting the word discoveries, like as if there's going to be a community that discovers something in the unknown. Let's say, um, I know this is sounding kind of broken up right now, but what I get, I keep seeing like a ship, and the ship looks like it's got wings. So I'm wondering if this is where like the discovery of a certain kind of aircraft. or a new aircraft is going to come out. Is this a craft that is connected to the water? Um, I don't think so. I see it more like it's up in the air. So there's some sort of aircraft that comes to the forefront. And I'm wondering if this is maybe a new invention, or I don't know, it becomes discovered and um, people are going to be like, wow, what kind of craft is this? And we talk about it and explore it more because it's mysterious or it's still an unknown to us. Um, this is a year where a lot of us want to get in touch with our own true selves. So this is where, again, and it confirms what I said with the numbers, going within, listening to that inner voice. The area of meditation and yoga comes up into the forefront. I feel though, with meditation and yoga, people are looking for something that's easier and simpler to follow. So yoga, like there's so many different kinds of yogas right now. Um, I feel like some of those yoga practices are going out. So the ones that seem to be complicated or so involved, or they've got all these different elements to it, it's like people are going to be like, no, I just want the basic, you know, original 70s type yoga or 60s type yoga. Like that was from way back when. To to follow, to get back into. So that's what I get with yoga. Like yoga is an industry that's going to be cleaning up or get cleaned up. People aren't going to go for that, some of these modalities that they've had in the past. Meditation, the same thing. People are like, yeah, I want to meditate, but what does that mean to me? Like, what kind of meditation do I believe in? What kind of meditation do I want to do? So the meditation industry too is going to come into the forefront and go through a cleanup, go through a ritual. Um, I see, this is a year where rituals will become popular, and rituals in the sense of, I feel like with the cycles. So let's say with the planets or the moon, because I can see robes and stone and circles, and I hear chanting. And I know that sounds very witchy, and that sounds like, um, to some might sound like dark, but it's not. I don't see it as something dark. I just feel like this is where people are going to be more in tune with the rhythms of life. And when we are in tune with the rhythms of life and with nature, it's almost like it helps us and helps us with our own rhythm, with our own natural way of being and doing and living. Um, this is a year of like giving up, but not giving up where like that's it, I'm done. I mean, although it could mean that, because that's one way to look at it. Giving up in the sense of um, what material or physical things that they've been accustomed to or they put their faith in, it's like I give up on that. So let's say um, you followed, I don't know, or you had, I don't know what to say with that. Let's say it's something that for years you followed or you really truly believed in. This is where you're going to be like, you know what? That hasn't done anything for me up to now. I give up on it. I'm going to try something different, or this is what I'm going to believe in now. I'm looking for something else. That's what I feel a big part of that giving up represents. Um, I see daisies. So daisies could maybe be a popular flower for the year. The other thing is look up the meaning of what daisies represent. That's a message in itself. Um, Natural look will be popular. I see like curly hair, curling. So I'm wondering if this is going to be like, I'm not a fashion trend kind of person, And I don't consider myself a fashionista, far from it. So I'm wondering if this is a year where, like, when it comes to hair and hairstyles, if it's like the curl or curly hair is going to be the it thing, or what some, popular. Um, or where people, if they do have curly hair or natural wave, they're going to want to bring that out more instead of worrying about, like, I'm not going to straighten my hair or get solutions put in my hair, whatever that may be, to take away the curl. They're going to bring it out more. Um, it could be too where we see in fashion, in photos, um, the look of curly hair will be popular or prevalent, right? We'll see it a lot more. Um, other predictions I'm getting. Quiet, quiet year in the sense of, you know, we want, it's like we want a world where it doesn't feel so noisy or there's not a lot of noise. Um, it's like we want to be enveloped with um, with whatever will bring us inner comfort. So let's say you felt you've been lacking in love, or or you feel you don't have enough love for yourself or in your life. It's like you want this imaginary blanket to just cocoon you in this energy of love. It's like you want to be enveloped in love. um, yeah, so I feel when it comes to blankets and enveloping and cocooning, it's about, what brings us comfort, what makes us feel secure, what makes us feel safe. Um, because it's like, again, some of us are going to have moments and experiences and situations in our life this coming year where it's going to feel unnerving because we can't explain or we don't know what's going to unfold or what's going to happen, and more so than usual. Because this is where, like, people, I think, again, as a species, we're so used to preparing and planning our future and wanting to know and having to know that this is a year where it's like, no, the great unknown happens a lot. We don't get to see it all. We don't get to have all our answers revealed right away. And this is where it's like, just having faith that things will work out, things will unfold how they're supposed to. We are looked after. Yeah, so I think, everyone, that is the forecast. Um, I spoke for almost an hour and a half. Wow. Anyways, for those that stuck through this whole thing, thank you so much. I hope you got a lot of value from it. I hope it brought you a lot of insights and awareness that'll help prepare you for the year ahead. That it brings peace of mind, heart, and soul, whether that's through confirming or bringing clarification. Um, Anybody who would like to book a personal reading with me, yeah, I would love to hear from you. I offer various types of readings, including numerology. I read the cards. I do spirit, totem, animal readings. I do dream interpretation. So reach out, message me, send me an email. I'd be happy to share information and meet you. Yeah, and that can be done on the internet or in person if we live close enough in the vicinity. All right, everyone. So that's 2023. Thank you again. Be well, stay safe, love and light.